Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the But What Do I Know podcast. This week we're going to be covering drinking, the ins and outs of it, the preferences of it, smoking versus drinking, and a few other fun things along the way. I'm here with Kevin.
Heyo.
And first things first, what is your preferred poison, Kevin?
My preferred poison is wine because I'm old as fuck, dude.
Wine, really? Oh my gosh, man! No lie, I had a glass of wine. What was it, like maybe over the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it was 10 years old, and it was supposed to be the bee's knees, and I did not like it at all. I didn't even finish the glass.
I could tell you right now, wine is like an acquired taste because I didn't like wine at first.
Is.
I didn't. It took me a while to get into it, so.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, my preferred choice is a good whiskey.
Whiskey. Ooh, God, that is way too
yes.
strong for me. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, but it tastes great, dude. Whiskey with just about anything. Any type of whiskey, really, I'm down. The only thing that I tend to stay away from is, most of the time, I don't really drink vodka or scotch.
Mm-hmm.
But whiskey, oh my god, it's so good. You can mix it with anything. Same thing goes for tequila, but I prefer the whiskey. I'll be drinking everything from like Crown to Jack. I like a good Jameson. Yeah. Whiskey's probably my preferred choice. I think tequila is growing more and more on me,
Mm-hmm.
but I prefer my drinks to be smooth. Like, it's just if it's smoother, it goes down easier. I think I have a better time.
I don't know.
Like 1800 tequila. Holy shit, man! That 1800 tequila is great.
Well, I can tell you for sure. Like, I've had like different types of tequila and everything like that, and the ones that I've had from when I went on a cruise to Mexico, those were definitely the better flavors. I don't think I can really say flavor. Well, no flavors because they had them in different type of flavors and everything like that.
Right.
It was like so fucking smooth. Like, legitimately, those were the types that I would drink and have no problems. But the ones here, like that we make in America and everything like that, I fucking cannot stand that shit, dude. Oh, like it burns your chest. That's the kind that will like. Well, I don't know about other people, but like it's so fucking strong that it just makes you like it does crazy things to you at night. I don't know. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't even like the stereotypical drink. What's it called? I don't even fucking like it. Hennessy. I fucking hate Hennessy, dude.
Hennessy.
Oh, I can't fucking stand it. I bought it on my 21st birthday and had it for like a year and a half, and I never drank it, and I gave it away to someone else.
Yeah. When you mentioned cruises, though, cruises are, I hear, one of the best places to get drunk, man.
Definitely, 100%. I mean, I was able to start drinking when you go to the islands and everything like that. When you're not on U.S. territory, at 18, you can do that at 18. It was great.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, it was fine.
Who told me something about it? I think I had a friend who recently went to Greece,
Mm-hmm.
and he did a whole cruise thing over there. And they said it was open bar the whole way through, and he said every day they would get up, fucking mimosas in the breakfast, whatever drink they wanted, basically. It was on the cruise and available at their disposal. So
Jeez.
definitely have to hit up a cruise one day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wait. Quick question before we move on. Fireball, is considered whiskey, right? That's cinnamon whiskey.
Yes.
Okay.
Fireball is Fireball Tennessee whiskey.
Okay.
Right.
So Fireball is the only whiskey that I will drink.
You see, and I'm not a big fan of Fireball. Why? Because it doesn't go down smooth, man. It doesn't.
It definitely doesn't go down smooth, but you know what? That shit is fire. Literally.
You see, I'm a big fan of the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey.
Okay, I've tried that one. It wasn't a huge thing for me, but a lot of people like that.
I can drink that out of the glass, dude.
Really?
I can drink it like, yeah, I can drink that with like some ice maybe, and that's about it.
Okay.
But it goes even better with like anything you want to mix it with. But what about fruity drinks? Are you into fruity drinks?
Oh, dude, if it is a fruity drink that someone has made or anything like that, I will drink it. Like fruit juice in it, or like extremely smooth and it tastes like juice or something. I will drink it. And I know it's bad to just take drinks from people, but if they hand me a drink and I taste it and it tastes like fucking juice, I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah.
Even there's even wine that tastes like juice. There's actually one
Really?
in particular. Yeah. So up here in Denton, there's this place called Wine Squared. So they have this red wine that I particularly like called Elena, and I haven't found it anywhere else. I've only found it there. It could be in other places, but I've only found it there. I've also looked online and I can't find it. But that shit is like juice, man. Like
Really?
like a Hawaiian punch type juice or something. It's just extremely smooth, and I like a bottle does no justice for me because I will drink it all in not even an hour. Like it's so good.
What about sangria? Do you like sangria?
I do like sangria. Sangria is good.
Dude, I recently started getting into sangria. Sangria is great. I didn't really even know what it was. I thought it was a wine for the longest when I was still looking into it, but I don't think it's a wine.
No, I don't
Is it a
believe it
wine?
is.
No, I don't think it's a wine. But it tastes great. That's all I know.
Yeah.
What about beer? My famous friends over there, over the border, make great beer in Mexico. In my humble opinion, my humble Mexican opinion, you know.
Whatever, dude. I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with you, but whatever. No, I really do enjoy beer, a nice beer, and that took a long time for me to get into because when I came to college, like all I wanted to drink was alcohol. I didn't want any beer. I didn't want any wine, anything like that. I only wanted alcohol. I was drinking hard liquor. Like it was rough in these streets for your boy, you know. But like once I got into it and I realized that like liquor was killing me more or less,
Yeah.
I started drinking beer, and that's also another acquired taste because at first I could not stand beer, but now like I'll grab like a 6-pack every now and then, like a Dos Equis or something like that, and just chill, you know.
Yeah, it's funny for me. I love beer. I love beer. I drink a lot of different types of beer. My favorite beer is a lager that's brewed here in Texas. It's called Ziegenbach.
Oh, I remember you told me about that one.
Oh yeah, man, that's my favorite beer. You know why? We see correlation. It's smooth. Like it's very smooth, and it tastes great. It doesn't just taste like how most beers taste, because a lot of beers taste the same.
Yeah.
Especially if they're like your regular type of premium light beer or whatever. But I go through phases. I go through phases of beers. Like for a while, I was all about Dos Equis, and then after that, it was all about Michelob's, or I was really into Coronas if they were ice cold. Even things like Budweiser and Bud Light if it was the only thing available, right? So, but Ziegenbach has been like the only common denominator, Ziegenbach stayed true and true. That's why it's my favorite. If anybody was thinking about birthday presents, Ziegenbach.
Whatever.
Ziegenbach.
You're not
it's the best.
No one's getting you.
It's the
beer.
best.
Okay, it just stay over there.
See, beer is great.
I wish I could figure out the name of this beer. It was recently introduced to me by my neighbor, and he had got it for Oktoberfest, and he let me try it. And I think that's a new favorite. I can't remember the name because I didn't have too many of. I had like a sip, and I went on with my day. But it wasn't smooth, which was weird because like smooth is always like the best thing. Like in your opinion, anyway. It's the best thing for beers. But I'll drink anything if it tastes good. And that tasted really good.
Well,
it was it was
course.
strong, but it wasn't like what's that strongest type of beer called?
Like a Karbach?
I guess you could say that. I mean, that's pretty strong.
The Karbachs, dude. Karbachs are hit and miss with me. There's a bunch of different ones. The one I like the most is this one called Love Street. But I remember when I tried the Hopadillo for the first time. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of that one.
Dude, some people swear by them. Some people are like the best. They say it's the best beer ever. It's a very strong beer. But I don't like it. To me, it tastes like bitter mint.
Ew.
Like it tastes a little bitter and it has a little mint to it, and I'm not a fan of either. So, but it's a funny story about the Hopadillo. One time, I was invited to by one of my cousins to a work Christmas party, like an office party. But they were having it at Dave and Buster's, and like they rented out a room inside of Dave and Buster's, like a party hall, and it was open bar. So I was with two of my cousins, and one of them, I think you've met him before. He's a cousin that's have lived with us for most of the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He started just, since it was open bar, and even I was like going in on like the Jack and Cokes or something like that. I think I remember. I don't even remember how many of them I ordered, but he was going ham on these Hopadillos, and I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And I tried it, and man, dude, I couldn't finish it. Just it's not my cup of tea. It's not necessarily, my thing. But I just remember at the end of the night, he was plastered. Because they're very strong. And they are very strong. They're super strong. And if you're like a lightweight, or maybe you don't drink that much, if you have like a couple of those, you'll definitely be at least buzzed.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you for sure, like, out of all the beers that I've had, one I will never, ever in my life drink again because it's horrible and I should have never drank it to begin with, is a Modelo Negro. It is awful. And when our friends made me drink that, I regretted it for like a week. The taste just didn't leave my mouth.
You didn't like the taste at all?
I didn't like the taste at all. Modelo Negro is
You didn't
gross.
like the taste? Because I actually have never had Modelo Negro.
It's not worth it. I mean, Modelo is fine. I don't mind Modelo.
Yeah, Modelos are usually beer of choice now at any party I go to, but I've never had the dark version. But with beer and a liquor, there's a famous saying around. I hear it sometimes, along with a few other ones, and it's one that goes, "Liquor before beer, you're in the clear. But beer before liquor, you've never been sicker." Do you agree?
Well, regardless of if I agree or not, I just want to put this out here before I even care about them saying that. The first thing I say is, "Mama didn't raise no bitch," and then I start downing drinks regardless if it's liquor or beer. So at that point, I don't really care if it's true or not. But I don't really believe. I don't really believe it's true. Like, people just say things a lot of times, but I could be entirely wrong because I've never looked into the facts on it. But in my experience, it didn't matter because I just downed it.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of hard to put to the test if you're doing, especially if you're doing it like you're testing it on yourself, because if you end up drunk or like wasted, then how are you gonna remember the results? Like it's kind of hard to remember what exactly happened. But I think, when was it? I don't think I've ever. I've always started off beer before liquor, and I've had crazy hangovers before, but nothing like to the point where I was throwing up, the next morning all day, felt like shit.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to that point, and I've been, blackout before. So I don't really think there's a lot of truth to it, maybe to some people, but I don't. It's not like it's in the back of my head every time I go out drinking, right? Because I almost always start off with beer before liquor.
Okay. Well, I mean,
yeah.
When I walk into a party, the first thing I do is, I'm not gonna lie, I look around, grab a beer if they have them. Well, this is now, I've calmed down a lot, and I'll sip on that throughout the night. Maybe have another one here or there.
Yeah.
But whenever I start off with liquor, I know it's gonna be a bad night.
It depends on what type of liquor. I remember once I took a picture of I was drinking tequila.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it so much because it was running down so smooth, but it wasn't really hitting. Like, it wasn't hitting me as hard, and I guess maybe it was because the alcohol percentage wasn't that high.
Okay.
So I kind of made me think, I'm like, man, if I'm gonna drink, like, if I'm gonna go out and drink, then I'm gonna drink. You know, I'm not gonna be, sipping something all night long, right?
Yeah.
But I took a picture of it because it tasted okay and it was pretty smooth, but I lost that picture. And I've been looking for that same bottle ever since. Like, every time I go into a Specs, I go to the tequila section to see if I can find that bottle again.
Okay.
But I don't think... Were you there for my 21st? I don't think you were there.
No, I don't think I made it for your 21st.
Yeah, I think you were already in Denton.
Yeah.
You're definitely already in Denton, but... I'm pretty sure you were still over there. But yeah, for my 21st, I got completely wasted. But I was home, wasn't in any danger.
Yeah.
But what I was drinking that night was a lot of tequila and whiskey. A lot of tequila and whiskey. It was like a full-blown, I even had family there. We were just going at it with... My family loves tequila.
Yeah, I know they like tequila. Of course,
they're... Yeah, they like tequila. They even make any occasion or anything that comes up where they have an excuse for tequila, they'll make something with tequila. Margaritas, everything, So I was also doing beer. I was doing a lot of whiskey. I remember that because a lot of people, because they knew I liked whiskey. So a lot of people brought me bottles of whiskey. So we were cracking them open. I think my cousins had brought bottles of Ciroc. All I know is by 4 o'clock, I was talking to myself. I think the night ended because I was sitting down at a table, and I got a phone call. So I answer the phone, and I get up off the table, so I start walking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this next part I don't remember too well, but I guess from what people tell me and from what the fragments of the memories that I have, I hit my fence. Like, I straight up just walked into my fence. Like, not even that slow. Like, I guess I didn't see the damn fence. Maybe I had my eyes closed. I don't know. But I hit my fence, and with my phone in hand, mm-hmm. by the way. I hit my fence, and I went backwards. Like, I just, bounced backwards, and I landed flat on my back. And I'm pretty sure that's where I got the bump in my head. Because the next morning, I woke up, and my head hurt, and I was taking a shower. I couldn't even put shampoo on that part of my head because it hurt so bad. And there was, a little ball. So I'm pretty sure I hit my head, the back of my head, when I fell backwards.
Yeah.
And I remember that night... I think, Brian? You remember Brian?
Yeah, I remember Brian.
Yeah, Brian and one of my brother-in-law's friends had to carry me upstairs in the old house. You remember where I used to live? There was a squared-off
mm-hmm.
Staircase
mm-hmm.
to get to my room. So they had to carry me up those flights of stairs, and I'm not a light guy. You know what I'm saying? So even back then, I always commend Brian because of that. I'm like, man, you're real. You helped me upstairs.
First off, Brian.
You didn't have to.
Yeah, Brian is real. Let's be real about that. Brian is real. But
yeah,
secondly,
Brian is real.
So going into all the drinking and whatnot, I have 2 interesting stories, and I'm gonna start off with one really quickly.
All right.
So I recently just started drinking, get into it, hanging out with everybody, and everything. Is this college? I believe this is sophomore year. Yeah, sophomore year, because this was my first apartment. The party was at a friend's house in the city, not too far away. I wasn't driving; another friend was driving, so it was fine.
Right. Now
this party, I didn't get to drink too much. Now I'm gonna tell you, I only had 5 cups of alcohol that night. 5.
5
now,
cups of alcohol.
That's it. So it wasn't really alcohol per se. It was lean.
Oh my god! I don't think that counts as alcohol.
Dude, I had never had lean before. You know, I'm from Houston. You know, it's expected to have lean and stuff like that. But I was like, no, I've never had it, so I'm gonna try it. You know, I had that first cup, and I was already feeling good, man. Oh my god! Because not only that, like it's not like I was taking it in like moderation. Like I downed it, and then I went for the second cup. Then I remember dancing around for a little bit, playing the game.
Come on, Kevin.
I think
you heard it's called sipping on lean, Kevin. Not
my
down.
bad. See, that's the thing. You're supposed to sip. I didn't sip.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I think they had Just Dance playing on the TV or something like that. So I was dancing with that, and then I went to go talk with one of my friends for a little bit. Then I got back up, had another cup, and. And then I sat down in a rocking chair, and apparently they told me I did this because I don't remember doing it. I was rocking just like for like 30 minutes to an hour.
You just rocking on the rocking chair. Did you fall asleep at all?
Bro, that's all I was doing. So then my friend was like egging me on. He was like, "Come on, Kevin, you got to drink some more. You got to drink some more." And that was when I had my last 2 cups, whatever. And after that. Yeah. I don't remember anything.
You don't just black.
Okay, my bad. I lied. I remember one thing from that. I remember getting pulled out of the car when I was saying like I'm all right, I don't have to throw up. And then I remember throwing up.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And then I woke up in the morning. That was it. Like
boy.
And it was I forgot all of that. I blacked out all of it completely. And I also lost my glasses. My glasses! Man. And they were just sitting in my friend's car or whatever. But it was the fact that, I lost my glasses. Like, I can't see, I can't do anything without my glasses. I'm like Velma over here, you know? So I was like, fuck, dude. Yeah. But yeah, no. It was crazy.
It could be tough, man.
Yeah, but
I don't really like blacking out. Blacking out is, I did it a few times, but I wouldn't do it if willingly, I wouldn't do it. I just waking up the next morning not knowing, what happened in a few spots is kind of like no good,
No, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But we'll go ahead and talk about the rest in a second.
And we're back. All right. Let's see here. Hangovers. And you let me know a little interesting fact about yourself. Why don't you share with us what you think about hangovers?
I don't have much to say about hangovers because in my entire experience with drinking, I have yet to experience a hangover.
Don't believe you. Flat out just gonna say it. Don't believe you.
And you don't have to believe me, but I'm being 100% honest with you. To this day, I've still not had a hangover. Don't get me wrong. I may have had those nights where I was at the toilet the entire night, just throwing up until 2-3 o'clock in the morning, just calling Earl. That is something that happened on a regular basis when I was drinking. But I have never woke up in the morning and been like, oh, it's too bright, or oh, my head hurts, and oh, I don't want to do anything, I'm just too lazy. Actually, it was the opposite. I would get up and I'm like, oh man, today is fucking fantastic. Everything is brighter, it's beautiful, I've never had a bad experience after drinking other than the night before. But the morning, I've never had a bad situation.
Well, see, that's interesting, and it's interesting because I haven't had many nights where, like you said, you're throwing up over the toilet, throwing up all over the place. I can probably boil it down to maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had several nights when I wake up with pain. I'm talking about a very painful headache, and it's basically a hangover, right? So I've had some good ones, I've had some bad ones, but the bad ones kill you, man. And it's if I know that I'm gonna get completely, wasted, I make sure I have nothing to do the next day. Because if I do, whatever it is, I'm not making it, it's just not going. I won't be able to make it. But I You're not the first person. You're not the first person that tells me that they don't get hangovers. I think one of my exes told me the same thing. I remember she would for the longest be like, "Oh, I've never known what a hangover feels like. Never known this, never known that." And then one day we went out. I think we had a party.
Mm-hmm.
We had a party and we were drinking. We started drinking a lot, and like to the point where things got a little out of hand,
Ooh.
right? So, but the next morning, I think I was up and about, and she was just still gone, and I'm like, what the hell's happening? So then she's like, my head is killing me. I'm like, well, that's a hangover for you. Like that's what an actual hangover feels like. It doesn't feel good, but I found it hilarious that I guess she took it a little, well, maybe more than she'd ever had before,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's what caused her to get a hangover. But maybe some people are different. You know, some people probably don't get them because of different reasons.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I haven't really looked into it, so I don't know.
I'm very jealous of those people. Because if I went out drinking and I knew that I wasn't gonna get a hangover the next day, I'd probably just drink more. Unfortunately.
I mean, I feel that.
Okay. Alrighty, but now we have a little topic I wanted to run by you real quick.
Right.
I know that we don't do much of it, but I guess when we're out in parties, people are either doing one or two things. They're either drinking or they're smoking. I don't really... I guess if you were to ask me which I'd prefer drinking. But just because every time I've come across like the opportunity to smoke, I always have a bad experience.
Okay.
And a lot of people tell me like, well, why this, why that, and I'm like, I don't know. It's not even with the actual smoking part. It's more like with what happens in the situation. Like I think to me, it's like a bad omen, man. Like something always goes wrong. Something always happens where, you know, and it was the cause of it.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like it was the cause of it, and that's why this happened, and this happened because of that, and it's a bad situation altogether. So over the years, I've tend to stay away from it just because of that. But I'm not knocking anybody that does it. You know, I have no problem with people who do it. I'm just it's basically like something I just stay away from because, you know, I have a lot of bad experiences with it. But what do you think?
Me personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm not gonna demonize it. People do it all the time. Some people have a good time doing it. Some
Right.
people do like they have adverse effects to it. Like some people who have anxiety. Like some people may become calm if they're if they smoke it, but some people may make it even worse for them. You know. But
Right.
I don't demonize them for it because I'm like, honestly, I don't see how it's a bad thing. It's just they're just chilling, you know, for the most part.
Yeah, and there's also people. There's also people that will only smoke and won't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they'll try and like tell them why it's like not really too much of a bad thing, but everyone's like, no, you shouldn't be smoking because da 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 da, and it's like, well, I don't do all of the thing like. You know, driving while you're high, yeah, it's still under the influence, but it's not like the same as driving drunk. And there are still like other things that you can do when you're high. Like the only thing I hear about most people when they're high is munchies, you know? So, it is what it is. But me personally, I don't smoke at all, anything ever. I have asthma, so I like to keep everything out of my lungs as much as possible.
That's a very good reason.
Yeah, like I just like to keep it as plain as simple. Like if I could just keep it out of my lungs, I'm good, you know. But like when I used to go to parties and everything, if they wanted to smoke, I didn't really have too much of a problem with it because a lot of people just go outside anyway. They don't smoke indoors, so it was cool.
Mhm. Yeah, it's it could be like it could be good and bad because I know people that, you know, that's all they do.
Yeah.
You know, 24/7. You know, and I don't know, man. It's just if it takes over your life that much. I mean, I like to say this: everything in moderation, right? Too much of anything is bad for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything at all. Too much of anything is bad for you. But when I see people, it's, I only do this and I live by this and I follow these rules and I only do smoking and I don't drink. I don't even, take medicines, nothing but smoking, edibles, whatever have you. I'm just like, I guess, do you, but I'm just not into it, unfortunately.
Yeah. But that's it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, so I sent you that link to that video. I wanted you to see. I ran across it on my Facebook, and I found the original link. It's on YouTube, and we'll put it in the description for anybody who wants to see. But it's basically a gentleman who's at a bar, and somebody bets him $1,000 to take 50 shots of Patron back to back. And the whole video is basically him taking on the challenge and downing 50 shots of Patron. Now, Patron, if it's there, I'll drink it. Mm-hmm. But if I have another option, I'll drink another thing. I like Patron, but it's very strong. It's very strong, and it'll, like this dude in the video found out, it'll put you on your ass
very quickly.
So, exactly. So, I see this dude just start going shot after shot after shot. Like, I didn't even know, like, my arm would be tired. Like, after, like, the 10th shot, my arm would be like, hey, like, what are we exercising right now? But the video eventually pans out. He finishes 50 shots. Some of them were, like, half-assed, I could tell, but, by the 50th shot, I'd be doing the same thing. But they basically cuts to him just being non-responsive, like non-responsive, unconscious, just basically dead weight. And I wish I knew how much time, like, it took for him to get to that position, right? Because it was crazy.
Yeah, no. First of all, the most shots I've had in a night were 10, and they put me on my ass, like, immediately. There was no waiting until the end of the night or anything. Like, they put me on my ass immediately. And they weren't even back to back,
Yeah.
But, like, first of all, to be able to take that many shots, not get alcohol poisoning, and be fine, props to him. Because I don't think I'd ever be able to take that many shots and live to tell the story,
I want to know what his next day was like, man, because I mean, no, but that's true though. What you said is true. Alcohol poisoning is real, man, and if you overdo it, even with maybe 20, 25, that's enough to land you in the hospital for alcohol poisoning. So this dude, and the video ends with him being taken away by the paramedics in a stretcher, to the point where we thought he was dead.
Yeah, I was like, oh wait, no, if he's dead, I'm not talking about this man.
We gotta make sure he's alive. But yeah, he gets pulled away from the paramedics, and then the video ends. But it's real crazy, man. I don't think I'd ever do that. I don't think. What would somebody have to pay you in order for you to down 50 shots of Patron back to back?
Patron, they'd probably have to pay me a lot. Because first of all, I don't know if I'm waking up the next day. But I mean, realistically though, I can't make fun of him too much, because like I'm gonna just use this as my segue into the next story, because it actually has to do with alcohol poisoning.
Oh boy.
So
alcohol poison's a killer, man.
So I don't blame anyone for what happened in this situation. I'm not mad at them. I enjoyed the night 100%. It was fantastic. And also, I'm sorry to any of my family members that hear this, because like, this is not me as a person. I don't know who this was, but he took over me that night, and he was just drinking on his own. So,
it's your alter ego.
So I went to a friend's house. I believe it was a Christmas party she was having. I went there, and it was me and two couples. So, they had games, alcohol, snacks, food. It was really decent. It was something that I was trying to, I was branching out at the time. I was experiencing new
Sounds
things
pretty
and stuff
chill.
like that. Yeah, it was good. So, my first mistake. I tried to match everybody that night. If someone took a shot of something, I took a shot of something. I can't, I don't know the number of drinks I had that night, legitimately.
You were one up guy that day.
Yeah, exactly. So then I also had they had put a combination of juice and wines and alcohol, and it tasted just like apple cider, and it was so good, dude. Oh my god, I had to have at least 3 or 4 glasses of that alone.
Apple cider is great.
Yeah, apple cider is like that's a great holiday drink right there. Unlike eggnog, So
I've never had eggnog.
Yeah, good. Keep it that way. So no, but like I said, I was matching everybody. I had that. Some of the snacks had alcohol in them, and I was just going at it that night. I was just like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going for it, and I did.
Right.
But at some point in that night, I don't even remember it happening. Dude, I just blacked out.
You blacked out.
I blacked out. And then I woke up, and I was on the ground. And I was like, oh, I'm about to throw up. And then someone brought me the trash can, and I threw up, and I blacked out again.
Oh, God.
And then I came back to consciousness, and I was just like, I don't even know if they really truly understood me as I was speaking at the time. Yeah. I don't even remember what I was saying. I just know that I lifted my hand at one point. And they one of the friends who had brought me over, he asked me something, and I responded to him, and then I blacked out again. And I woke up again, and he was like, I think we need to take him to the hospital.
Oh my god.
And then someone else was like, no, we can't do that. He's too young. And
you weren't 21 at the time?
I wasn't 21.
Oh my god.
So then I was just like, no, I can't get my friends in trouble. So I was just like, I'm okay. I was just like, I'm okay. And then my friend was just like, see, he's a trooper. And then I blacked out.
You blacked out for the 5th time.
Yeah. And then after that blackout, when I woke up again, I was up this time. And apparently, I'm already pale. But apparently I was pale in the face. And I felt I could feel my body just, it was gross, and I didn't want to do anything or anything. I couldn't stand up on my own. I had to have help to move.
Shit, really?
Yeah. And we were upstairs too, so we had to go down the stairs, and they drove me home, and I was laying down in the truck oh, this sucks, because I'm moving, and I'm as drunk as I was, and this is the worst thing ever. So then,
did your insides hurt at all?
Oh yeah, they definitely did. I was throwing up that entire time, man. I don't remember. The only time I remember actually throwing up was when I asked for the trash can to begin with, but I was throwing up in between apparently. So that's a thing. But once I got home, I got in bed, and I did not wake up until 10 the next day. But I still wasn't hungover. True story. I promise.
No.
True story. I was not hungover. I got up and I did everything I needed to do. Bro, It was crazy. That was the craziest night I had ever had. And it wasn't even a rage or anything. It was just a get-together for Christmas.
Get together at Christmas.
Yeah, that's all it was.
I mean, I've a lot of people tell me, Christmas parties, office parties, family parties is kind of where people go all out sometimes. Maybe it's because they just feel like they had the opportunity to. Some people are probably off of work or whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever I drink in public, I tend to keep it pretty chill. I don't think I've ever been blacked out in public before.
Okay. I wish I could say the same.
I get too paranoid, man. I get paranoid about like I don't want to lose my phone. I don't want to lose my wallet. I don't want to have that headache, you know. Especially if I drove there, I'm definitely not doing that. But
oh yeah, if you drove there, you're fucked, dude.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been blackout. You know, and I'm not the type. I mean, I guess you got to be really close to me, but I'm not the type to babysit anybody either, man.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like if you, especially, it sounds bad, but if you drove yourself there and you're just like, if I don't really know you, but you're in the group and you drove yourself there and you decide to get fucking plastered, I'm like, man, you're an adult. You can get yourself home just like you got yourself here. I'm sorry. I can't. It's just unless you're close. If you're close to me, then there's only like a few people I'd do it for.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, not for me. I'm not gonna babysit anybody. I mean, grown ass people.
I feel you. Like I'm probably not gonna babysit them, but I'm still gonna make sure they like find a ride. Like, hey, y'all gonna take him with you, or hey, get this man like a Uber or something. But at the same time, I don't have parties like where I live.
Right.
Growing up, they always had parties at the house, whatever, and it was never like anything bad. It was just, you know, family get-togethers and stuff like that. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So as I got older, I just decided I don't want to do things at my house, apartment, whatever I'm living at the time. So I haven't. Now, don't get me wrong. I've wanted to have get-togethers every now and then, but like time constraints or money at the time, you know, stuff like that. So I'm just like, I think I'll pass on it this time, you know?
Yeah, so. No, I get it. Drinking is a touchy subject, you know. But what the hell do we know? You know what I'm saying?
What the hell do you know?
Not much, apparently.